And now we have an exhibition by the junior ladies champion Tracey Lee-Brook from New South Wales. Tracey building up speed for a double lutz jump. Not a bad effort there. Unfortunately, she did touch down, but let's not forget it is an exhibition and there's no judging involved. This year's event, the Junior Ladies event, was a very exciting event. There's a lot of talent coming up in the Junior Ladies, and certainly Tracey Lee-Brook showed us how good a skater she really is by fighting off a strong challenge by Poppy Geros and Laura Petrie. Tracey stepping into a parallel spin, layback, sit spin, and back camel into another back sit. She certainly has good combination spins. Tracey's had quite a number of opportunities to skate overseas and has been a representative for Australia in quite a number of events. A very nice performance from Tracey.
Hello and welcome to Iceland and Dandenong for the final night of the Australian Figure Skating Championships. There's probably a greater appreciation and awareness of ice skating in Australia right now than there's ever been, and that's due substantially, of course, to the influence of Torvill and Dean. Our specialist commentator tonight is six-time national champion Billy Schober. Billy, what can you tell us about some of the top skaters we'll be seeing in action tonight?
I think we'll be seeing a wonderful evening of skating. We've got some very special guests from America, Scott Williams and Debi Thompson. Scott is currently ranked number 3 in the US. He's the bronze medalist winner, and Debi number 2 in the US. They'll be doing some exhibitions, but not forgetting our own skaters this evening, and we'll be seeing the senior men's championship, ladies, pairs and some dance. And so far, things are looking very bright for our own skaters, standard-wise. I think it should be a very interesting evening.
Good, Billy. Well, the program's about to get underway behind us, and I'm sure we're in for a great night's entertainment.
1 minute, please. We are having technical difficulties.
We're about to be treated to a comic routine by 18-year-old Debi Thomas. Debi's from San Jose in California, and she's the second-ranked skater in the United States and 5th in the world.
Debi's always enjoyed a certain amount of comedy. She was inspired by a show skater by the name of Mr. Flick in the United States. He's from one of the show's Ice Follies. Debi showing us her impressions of some split jumps. Wonderful crossovers, and as we can see here, she just catches the top of the rail. And for all those skaters who are at the moment having lessons, don't pick up too many bad habits from this. This is one of my favourite parts. I saw this earlier this year in Europe when she did this exhibition at the World Championships. She does some backward crossovers. Now watch this. She goes into a lutz jump, stretches, and falls flat on her face. It's classic. And that was supposed to have been a single axel, looked more like a flying camel and a scratch foot. Well, I think we'll see a little different style later this evening from Debbie, who will be showing us one of her other routines. But that was great fun.
Miss Debi Thomas, ladies and gentlemen.
"14-year-old Sean Abram is the winner of the junior men's competition, and he now shows us the form that won him the championship. This is Sean's third win. He was also the 1983 and 1984 national junior champion.
Shane doing a jump sit spin for us there. He's really improved in the last 12 months. He's flying much better across the ice than in past years, and certainly when he won this junior title, he certainly put in a smashing performance in the freestyle, doing some very polished jumps, like the one we saw there, that fine double lutz. And he's now doing a very good double axel as well, which he is about to do now. No, that was a nice single. He certainly looks like he's having a good time out there. He's covering the ice very well, Sean. He's doing footwork there. I think this is basically his short program routine, which he's adapted for us for exhibition. And the choreography is definitely flowing well with the music. Let's see if he does that double axel now. Remember, that's 2.5 rotations. It's a difficult jump. And he did a very nice job there. There's his combination spin. And again, a wonderful performance from Sean tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Abram.
Is Debi Thomas, who's the second-ranked figure skater in the United States. And Debbie, that comedy routine is a favourite of yours.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun to do. It's something that I can lighten up on. I don't have to really worry about doing anything hard. So
The crowd certainly seem to enjoy it.
yeah, it's different, definitely different.
Well, you've rocketed into the public eye just this year, really, haven't you? Second in the national championships, United States in Kansas, and then you had a big win just last weekend. Would you like to tell us about that?
Well, the sports festival was really exciting for me because, for one thing, I wanted to go because it's fun. But another thing, I wasn't exactly prepared, and I didn't know exactly how I would perform there. And it was my first time performing as like a favorite, so I was supposed to win. So I'm really glad that I pulled off a good performance.
Well, you have become quite a favourite internationally, I believe. The French media have dubbed you the Black Pearl. Do you like that?
Yeah, it's nice having nicknames that people are really looking up to you.
Well, you've been skating for a long time.
Very long time. It's pretty much part of my life right now, and I love skating and I love competing. So I'm planning on staying in for the next 3 years and going for 88 Calgary.
And this is your first visit to Australia, Debbie.
Yes, it is.
What do you think of the standard of Australian skating that you've seen at the championships here?
Well, I think the standard is going up and working hard.
Very diplomatic. From a very top skater. Thanks very much, Debbie. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip to Australia.
Thanks.
In the junior dance category, our first competitors are 14-year-old Rosslynne Mullenger and 15-year-old Mark Storton. Last year, this couple won the national novice title.
Both Rosslynne and Mark are taught by well-known professional David Fell, giving us a demonstration of their free dance routine. There are some very strict rules to remember in ice dance, particularly if we compare it to pairs, which some people do slightly get confused with. Partners are not permitted to separate more than 2 arms lengths, and certainly lifting above the shoulders. Dance as well. Doing a very fine job out there. Good interpretation and a very good flow across the ice.
Our next competitors in junior dance are Lynn Webb and Duncan Smart, both aged 15. They've won the Victorian state title for the last 2 years and they were national runners-up last year.
Yes, they are doing a nice job out there. They're covering the ice exceptionally easily, effortlessly tonight. And they are also coached by Mr. David Fell, who's been working with them for the last few years. And those of you who have watched the telecasts in previous years will definitely see some improvement in this couple. And later on this year, they'll be going to England, to London, for some training with a very well-known coach over there, Joanne Slater.
And the winners of the National Junior Dance Championship are Lynn Webb and Duncan Smart from Victoria. In second place, Rosslynne Mullenger and Mark Storton, also from Victoria. Our second American guest, appearing courtesy of the United States Figure Skating Association, is Scott Williams. Scott's a former junior world champion. He's 18 years old and he's currently ranked second in the United States.
Now, those of you who like rock and roll, there's a special treat for you. And it's Prince with Purple Rain, Scott doing his version on the ice. Just watch how he really just moves in this double flip. Nice, smooth, good elevation. That's why Scott's been so successful over the past few seasons internationally. Great presentation. He just makes everything look so easy. Building up some speed now for his double axel. I just fell out of that, unfortunately, but let's not forget, I think it's just on 24 hours that Scott's been in Australia and already he's doing exhibitions. And that's a mighty fine effort. A good death drop there into that back sit spin. Certainly interpreting the music very well, and I think that crowd's really loving it. Getting right behind Scott there. Scott certainly developed stylish-wise. I saw him in an earlier competition in Zagreb. And that was a good double axel he did then. And in Zagreb he did win that. That was the Golden Spin Championship. And I've known Scott actually for about 7 or 8 years since his last visit in Australia. And finishing up with some very fast piston rolls into a butterfly. Great show from Scott.
Scott Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
And now we have an exhibition by Monica MacDonald and Rodney Clarke, New South Wales. They're both aged 18 and they're the winners of the senior dance national title for the second successive year.
Now let's look closely at their edges. It's very important in ice dance to have nice flowing edges and also not forgetting the depth as well. In senior dance, this is a very important area, particularly if one is thinking of competing internationally. Remember, jumps and spins are not permitted in this category of skating. Dancing, it's very important to show the different styles of skating, different moves, particularly in the interpretation, and that's why it's very important to have at least a few tempo changes, which on the international scene has changed over the past few years, with Torval and Dean doing numbers like Bolero, which is more one type of flowing music or rhythm, and as we can see here, that's their tempo change now. They're showing us a different style of their skating, their interpretation. The crowd enjoying their performance there. Slight flaw there, that can become very costly for an ice dancer. Those type of mistakes one can't really afford to do, especially in national championships and certainly not in international.
I'm speaking with Scott Williams, who's currently ranked number 2 in the United States. Scott, you've got a pretty impressive record both in the States and internationally. What do you consider your proudest achievements?
Junior world champion was certainly a highlight. Golden spin in Zagreb, I won last year. Second in the sports festival, and third at our national championships last year was...
Well, how old are you now, Scott?
19.
And how long have you been skating?
14 years.
14 years. Do you have to start pretty young in the States these days to get anywhere competitively?
I think it's important that you get an early start. You can't develop in the time and the things we're doing nowadays if you don't get a start and working on the basics early. It's just too hard to get the coordination.
And this is not your first trip to Australia, I believe?
No, I was here once before, 7 years ago.
What were you doing then?
I was here demonstrating and doing exhibition with a then coach of mine.
Well, we very much enjoyed your exhibition here this evening. You had to perform as soon as you got off the plane yesterday, I believe, too.
Yeah, it's a little jet lag, but I'm working at it.
Working very hard here. How long are you in Australia?
Just for 6 days.
And what's next on the agenda?
I've got coming up competition in Canada, Skate Canada, NHK in Japan, I think Moscow Skate also in December, and then, of course, Nationals and hopefully Worlds in March, Geneva.
Well, I hope we see you again in Australia sometime.
Well, thank you very much. Nice being here.
Now we have the winners of the Junior Pairs event, Fleur, Armstrong and Mark Edney. Mark and Fleur won the National Novice Pairs Championship last year, and they're the current Victorian Junior Pairs champions.
There's a very fine lift. Now that is an example that we can use to demonstrate the difference of pairs and dance. In dance, that would be definitely a move that we wouldn't be able to do or to see in a routine. Both Mark and Fleur compete in singles as well. In fact, Mark was very successful the other night when he won the Australian Novice men's title. Mark and Fleur did quite a few months of training in the United States earlier this year, and they've certainly improved as a couple. And side-by sit spins there. Fortunately, the synchronization was a little out there, so that will cost them a few tenths. Not forgetting that skating is marked out of the possible 6.0. There's a throw double toe loop. Mark's certainly improved in his strength now. He's controlling Fleur above the head much stronger than in past seasons, and certainly I think perhaps working the way they do off ice has definitely assisted them in that area. There's another back inside death spiral. That one was better than the other one. She controlled that better, and very fine performance. Excellent.
Now we see the brother-sister combination, Stephen Carr, who's 19, and his sister Danielle, who's 15, the winners of the senior pairs. They also won this title last year.
Both Stephen and Danielle have been skating for quite a number of years, but they've actually been working in Russia the last few seasons, and they've certainly improved in their skating. Stephen will be seeing later on this evening. He's competing in the senior men's title as well. There's another back inside death spiral. Both Stephen and Danielle, they do all of their own choreography for their pairs, and they have designed their outfits as well. That was just a little unfortunate there on that throw double toe loop. She was leaning, and that caused her to fall, and again her concentration, perhaps due to the other fall, has again caused her another mistake on that jump. Let's see if they can do this Kaufmann spin. Very good. Invented quite a few years back from an American couple. They performed that very well. Very important in pair skating to have a well-balanced program of jumps, spins, footwork and lifts, and naturally that takes some time to really develop. It takes years of hard work, dedication, and certainly good coaching to really become consistent at. marvellous performance, and I think they can be quite happy overall.
12-year-old Heidi Beyer from Victoria is the winner of the Juvenile Ladies event. Heidi's the current Victorian title holder, and she came third in this event last year.
Yes, Heidi's quite a hard worker in her skating. She's certainly the type of girl who is a very determined skater. If we watch her tonight, even in this exhibition, she'll be pushing right throughout her whole routine. Double toe loop jump. Great to see these young skaters skate in the national championships with so much enthusiasm and drive. Certainly, I think that Australian skating, the way it is at the moment, particularly with the juvenile and novice skaters, looks very promising for the future. And with young Heidi and the others, I think that things should be certainly getting better in the next few years to come. Combination spin from Heidi. Good exhibition program from Heidi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Heidi Beyer.
Just 10 years old he is. Young Queenslander Antony Barnes. He came third in this event last year, and now he's won the Juvenile Men's Championship.
Also another bright spark for the future, someone to look out for in a few years to come as he goes through his exhibition routine. Antony showing us some footwork and some of his style that made him the champion, the juvenile champion. Some footwork, straight line sequence. It's got quite a few original movements in there. It's great to see young skaters, particularly of that age, skate the way they do, and certainly with the enthusiasm that they show. Good flying single axle. Into a scratch upright spin. And into a back one. There's a double toe loop. Certainly covering the ice very well for such a small guy. He's doing a good job. And a good stop too.
And over.
The next category is the Senior Men's Championship, and the first competitor is Christopher Blong. Christopher is a guest competitor from New Zealand, and he's aged 16.
Christopher building up for his first element. Let's have a look at the single axle. Quite a good jump. I think in senior men's, I think what we can expect to see is certainly difficult jumps, triples and things, but good landings as well. It's very important to have good solid landings. And I'm not sure if that was supposed to have been a triple or a double, but certainly he did pull out. He changed his mind halfway through the air. And there's a flying camel spin. Now again, his free leg should be a little bit higher in that position, and I think that will perhaps give him a little bit more speed and more marks.
The second competitor is 18-year-old Matthew Monk from New South Wales. Matthew came third in the New South Wales titles this year.
Now let's watch Matthew here. He certainly can jump if he pulls this double axel off. I think we can expect to see a very high jump in this if he can do it. He's been doing it very well in practice. Let's watch closely here. Great. That's a hard jump to do. It's 2.5 rotations and followed with that double toe loop. Matthew skating to the well-known piece of music, the Fire Dance. He's concentrating on his skating now. A very difficult movement coming up that he's about to attempt, a triple toe loop. Let's see if he can land this. Let's see if he can get that pull. Slight lean, and unfortunately he didn't pull that quite off.
Next we have Brad Webb from Queensland. Brad is the current Queensland champion.
Brad powering some speed into a single axel. I think Brad needs to develop a little bit more strength for the senior men's competition. He's skating well, but I think that he just needs to get a little bit stronger there. His jumps are generally quite good. He's got flow, but I think that just generally speed-wise and perhaps a little bit more emphasis on interpretation wouldn't hurt his program. An upright spin, could be a little faster perhaps next year.
Stephen Carr from New South Wales. We've already seen Stephen with his sister Danielle winning the senior pairs category. Stephen came third in this event last year.
Now let's watch Stephen. Stephen's got a great style and he certainly can jump. Gets a lot of elevation in his jumps, and Stephen has trained in Russia, and he's one to really watch, particularly his stroking as he covers the ice. He covers it so smoothly and he gains a lot of speed. Great double axel, so smooth and a lot of elevation. And there's that crossing over. And there's a triple. It did touch down with the hand. It will cost him marks, but nonetheless, so far he's doing a very good job with a good flying back sit spin, or as they call it, death drop as well. Stephen losing a little bit of concentration there on that Salko. I think it may have been a triple, but he certainly opened. And there again, it's a shame because he can skate very, very well, and as we saw earlier, he can jump. He's got good elevation and he's got a nice style.
And the final competitor in the senior men's event is Cameron Medhurst from Victoria. Cameron's the reigning champion and he's also the current Victorian champion.
Yes, Cameron's going to show us his new routine for this year, skating to Carmen. I think it's the first time we've really seen Cameron demonstrating such a mature routine, opening up with a fine double axel, good stretch on that landing. Now let's watch closely as he goes into this very difficult triple lutz, as he stretches that free leg back. Unfortunately, he didn't quite make it, as we saw there, but nonetheless, it's a good effort, and Cameron really needs to do those elements if he wants to have the success that he's so hoping to have in international competition. The area which Cameron's really improved in is the interpretive part of the skating. And as we saw there, that was a triple Salchow. Again, the skate didn't quite flow out enough on that landing. That will cost him marks again. Nice double loop jump. The nice thing about this particular program, as we can see Cameron here, he doesn't really rush into the jumps. He takes his time in the in-between parts in the program. He shows us his flexibility, his turns, and he combines that with the jumps as well. So I think that's really becoming a world-class type of routine. Double axel, and let's have a look, see if he can do this triple toe loop. And again, a slight flaw on that landing. Now, I don't know what it is. Perhaps it's one of those nights, but he just is not pulling his free leg back early enough and not enough snap on that takeoff. Certainly, things have been going very well for him in practice, and after the first 2 rounds of competition, he is leading after the compulsory figures and after the short program. So he isn't really under all that much pressure, but then again, one has to go out there and do these jumps nonetheless. And again, a slight flaw. I think it's one of those nights, unfortunately. I think everyone has them, everyone who does some skating. And I think it could be this night that Cameron's facing tonight. Yes, that was a triple toe loop, but again, he did land on 2 skates with his skates crossed. So those landings, in other words, are not really clean ones, and the judges will reflect this in their marks. And it's just bad luck because Cameron can do these jumps. Generally though, this program of his is much more mature than any other routine, and is showing a lot of technical difficulty in what he's doing, and it's good to see him do what he is, because he needs to do these type of jumps for the international events, particularly the World Championships and various events on the international circuit. Now that was one of the better landings on a triple Salchow. See him do the camel into the sit spin, the back one, and generally a good performance from Cameron, but a little disappointing nonetheless.
And the winner of the Senior Men's Championship for the 3rd time is Cameron Medhurst from Victoria. 2nd, Stephen Carr from New South Wales. 3rd, Brad Webb from Queensland. And in 4th place, Matthew Monk from New South Wales. And 5th, Christopher Blong from New Zealand. After the results were announced, I asked Cameron if he was happy with his jumps tonight.
I've been having problems with a leg injury, and I haven't been able to train as hard as I want to, so I think that was my downfall when it came to tonight. But overall, I was fairly pleased.
Well, what aspects of your routine have you been working on now since the Victorian Championships?
Well, it's a new program, so I have been developing that new program and putting in more artistic parts and improving on the jumps that are already there and making it more consistent.
So you're generally happy with your performance overall?
Yes.
And what are you going to be doing internationally now? You had some very good placings this year and last year. Are you hoping to improve on that?
Yes, well, in March this year I was 18th at the World Championships in Tokyo, so now winning this title again qualifies me to the next World Championships, which are going to be in Geneva. So I hope to really improve on my placings that I received last year and to be able to move up the scale. And also I'd like to do some international competitions in November in Europe.
You're not going to have a break then?
No, well, perhaps a while now I'll have a bit of a break and give my leg a rest and then get back into the training.
Congratulations again, Cameron.
Thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Williams.
Visiting American champion Scott Williams will now perform for us again.
Yes, Scott's just about to do an encore for us. Scott certainly likes the music from Prince, and he does some fantastic movements in this exhibition. Building up some speed for a very nice double axel. Good flow coming out on that. Jump sit spin, flying sit spin. I think he's really starting to get the feeling of the crowd and the energy. I'm sure that he'll get, certainly there's a lot of girls in the audience that would love to have an autograph from Scott after his skate, and as we heard earlier, they were just really enjoying his Purple Rain number. Yes, Scott's really interpretive. He's really interpreting the music very well, and the crowd's right behind him. He does a great move there, very difficult move too. A good show move to get the crowd on their feet with some final piston rolls into the butterfly, which he does so well. Great exhibition from Scott. It's great to have skaters like Scott and Debi out in Australia showing us their marvellous talents.
The next category is the senior ladies event, and our first competitor is 19-year-old Victorian Natacha Viel. Natacha was placed third here last year.
Yes, Natacha's only recently returned from the United States. She's been there for quite a few months training with a renowned coach, Mr. Carlo Fassi, in Colorado Springs. Natacha building up some speed now. Let's see if she can do this double axel. Wasn't quite the best. Currently she's rated number 2 after the first 2 divisions of skating after the compulsory figures and short program. So let's see how she goes tonight. She can hang on and keep into that second place. Yes, it's very sad for us in many ways. This will probably be the last time we'll see Natacha skate, as her parents and Natacha are returning back to France indefinitely. So this may well be the last time we'll see Natacha at the Nationals.
Now we have Kylie McCoogan from New South Wales. Kylie is 17 and she came third in the New South Wales state titles this year.
And Kylie's skating to a very well-known piece of music, a piece from Paul Weller and the Style Council. They recently toured Australia. I think Kylie really enjoys that beat, and certainly she's covering the ice exceptionally well to it. Good flow on that wally jump and the double lutz there. Good landing. Well, she's certainly working hard out there.
17-year-old Nicole Baurycza from New South Wales. Nicole was second in the New South Wales titles earlier this year.
Nicole just demonstrating us a double axel. Wasn't quite as clean as she'd hoped to have that jump. Nicole did quite a bit of partnering with her partner Rodney a few years back, and they were very good pair skaters. And now she's gone into her solo skating in an effort to improve in her skating. A well-known piece of music that Torval and Dean also use. For those of us who have seen them in exhibition, they'll certainly remember that piece of music, which they performed exceptionally well too.
Young Jennifer Cox from Victoria is 15, and she was Victorian State Junior Champion last year, and she came third in the State Senior titles earlier this year.
Yes, Jenny's also returned from America, where she trained with Ron Luddington in Delaware, and certainly it's paid off. She's in practice been skating exceptionally well, and let's see how she goes tonight. The music is a very well-known piece, and there's a good double axel. That was a very nice jump of Jenny's, and she controlled that landing very well. Music from the film Electric Horseman, which starred Robert Redford and Barbara Jane Fonda. Showing us her interpretation to this really wonderful piece of music.
Our next competitor from New South Wales, Joanna O'Sullivan. Joanna's the current New South Wales title holder, and she was placed 4th in this event last year.
Attempt at a double axel there. Unfortunately, she really didn't get that tightness for the jump, and that naturally resulted in that fall. Remembering there are 2 marks in figure skating in singles. There's the technical mark and also the artistic. Both marks are naturally out of the possible 6.0. Joanna moving exceptionally well over the ice. She's flowing, she's connecting those movements up with a very fine jump there, that double flip. Starting to see some very fine quality in our skating in the senior ladies.
The final competitor in the senior ladies category is 17-year-old Victorian Diana Zovko. Diana's the present Victorian title holder, and she was runner-up to Mandy James in the national titles last year.
Yes, Diana's represented Australia quite a number of times in various international competitions, and she's done exceptionally well by making some very fine placings in those international events. Skating to the music from the Beatles, Helena Rigby. Let's watch closely and see if this double axel does come off from Diana. No, wasn't quite there, unfortunately. It was a good attempt, but if she does it this time. She's doing a salco there. Attempted a triple salco. Again, the jump wasn't really quite clean, and again, the judges will definitely look at that in their marking, and there will be deductions made in in that area of the technical side of things. Diana's found it a little difficult this year with her studies and everything. It does take quite a few hours of a day to practice, and with schoolwork the way it is, she's unable to practice as many hours as she would like to, and perhaps this may be one of the reasons why her jumps aren't quite as clean as we've known them to be. Very important to have a good balance in the skating routine. The choreography, particularly in the senior competition, is so important. In other words, to have a good balance of jumps, spins, connecting movements, such as Diana is showing us here, and certainly to do them in a very good style. In other words, good extension, keeping the back nice and straight, and have good concentration for those type of jumps, like we've just seen that double axel, which she did cleanly for us there. Let's watch closely how she extends that free leg for that double lutz, double toe loop combination. Very smooth execution, and I think she's seeming to skate a little bit better now in her routine. Perhaps she was a little nervous at the start, but the last 40 seconds or so have been very good, particularly technically. Final movements in this routine with the butterfly, an illusion, and a back scratch foot. A good performance from Diana. I think she can be quite happy with that skate of hers.
The winner of the Senior Ladies Championship is Diana Zovko from Victoria. In second place, Joanna O'Sullivan from New South Wales. Third, Jennifer Cox from Victoria. Fourth, Nicole Baurycza from New South Wales. And in fifth place, Kylie McCoogan from New South Wales. Billy, you're particularly impressed with some of the junior skaters tonight.
Yes, I think the juniors were very, very good. I think the junior ladies were of a very high standard, and particularly the junior men as well. A little disappointing in the seniors, but then again, some of them compete overseas during our summer, and it makes it very difficult to peak twice a year. But considering everything as a whole, I think the standard has definitely risen, and particularly the interest. There are more competitors this year, with the precision being included in the championship. And I think overall, I think we can be quite pleased. And it's marvellous to have the Americans over here doing the exhibitions, which again will stimulate skating even further.
So you think that there's quite a depth of talent in Australia at the moment?
Oh, there's no question about that. We have the talent, we have the potential. It's just a matter of time.
Thanks, Billy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's performances, and my thanks also to Billy Schober for giving us the benefit of his wide and extensive knowledge of ice skating. Now, to close our program, we have another sparkling display from our talented American guest, Debi Thomas.
Next on ABC, Rosslynne Russell and Alexander Knox star in Sister Kenny in our movie matinee.